Hello, my name is Helga Edwards, and the topic for today's message is entitled, Let's Stop Putting God in a Box. I'm going to be reading about the story of Naaman from 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 1 to 14. Now Naaman, commander of the army of the king of Syria, was a great and honorable man in the eyes of his master, because by him the Lord had given victory to Syria. He was also a mighty man of valor, but he was a leper. And the Syrians had gone out on raids and had brought back captive a young girl from the land of Israel. She waited on Naaman's wife. Then she said to her mistress, If only my master were with the prophet who is in Samaria, for he would heal him of his leprosy. And Naaman went in and told his master, saying, Thus and thus says the girl who is from the land of Israel. So the king of Syria said, Go now, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel. So he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 changes of clothing. Then he brought the letter to the king of Israel, which said, Now be advised, when this letter comes to you, that I have sent Naaman my servant to you, that you may heal him of his leprosy. And it happened, when the king of Israel read the letter, that he tore his clothes and said, Am I God, to kill and make alive, that this man sends a man to me to heal him of his leprosy? Therefore please consider and see how he seeks a quarrel with me. So it was, when Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes, that he said to the king, Why have you torn your clothes? Please let him come to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. Then Naaman went with his horses and chariot, and he stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, Go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored to you, and you shall be clean. But Naaman became furious and went away, and said, Indeed, I said to myself, he will surely come out to me, and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God, and wave his hand over the place, and heal the leprosy. Are not the Abana and the Parfar rivers of Damascus better than all the waters of Israel? Could I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. And his servants came near and spoke to him and said, My father, if the prophet had told you to do something great, would you not have done it? How much more than when he says to you, Wash and be clean? So he went down and dipped 7 times in the Jordan, according to the sayings of the man of God. And his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. Now God's prophet Elisha, who received his instruction from the Spirit of God, told Naaman to wash in the Jordan 7 times. But this made no sense whatsoever to Naaman's mind, and he was at first furious and enraged and unwilling to do what Elisha had instructed him to do for his own healing. Are we putting God in a box? Are we letting God be God? Are we open to do whatever the Holy Spirit leads us to do, even if it doesn't fit our expectations? Many times in the Bible, miracles happened when people obeyed God's instructions, which made no sense to the human mind. Think of the battle at Jericho, and think of how Jesus put mud on the blind man's eyes. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 6 says, Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. When it says, in all your ways acknowledge him, the word acknowledge actually means to be emotionally intimate with God, pouring out your heart to him about your situation and giving the situation to God. Naaman could have said to God, God, I feel confused. I thought Elisha would come and wave his hand over my leprosy and pray to you, and then I would be healed. I feel really angry that he's telling me to wash in the Jordan River. It makes no sense to me. Couldn't I have just washed in the rivers of Damascus? I think the waters in Damascus are better than the waters in Israel. However, I give the situation to you, God. I will choose to trust in you. I will choose not to lean on my own understanding, and I will allow your Spirit to direct me. So we're to trust in God's wisdom, not lean on our own human understanding. In our hearts, we are to give the situation to God, and pour out our heart to God, and then He will direct our paths. It is important that we walk in the Spirit, that we walk in wisdom, which is spiritual wisdom. We are called to seek God's spirit of wisdom. And in Proverbs chapter 2, verse 2 to 5, it says, "Incline your ear to wisdom, and apply your heart to understanding. Yes, if you cry out for discernment, and lift up your voice for understanding, if you seek her as silver, and search for her as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord, and find the knowledge of God." Proverbs 4, verses 5 to 6 says, "Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget nor turn away from the words of my mouth. Do not forsake wisdom, and she will preserve you. Love her, and she will keep you." Proverbs 8, verses 1 to 3 says, "Does not wisdom cry out, and understanding lift up her voice? She takes her stand on top of the high hill, beside the way where the paths meet. She cries out by the gates, at the entrance of the city, at the entrance of the doors." Verses 10 to 11 says, "Receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things one may desire cannot be compared with her." In verses 17 and 32 to 34, God's Spirit of wisdom says, "Those who seek me diligently will find me. Now therefore listen to me, my children, for blessed are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not disdain it. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. For whoever finds me finds life, and obtains favor from the Lord." And Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1 to 5 says, "Wisdom has built her house. She has hewn out her 7 pillars. She has mixed her wine. She has furnished her table. She has sent out her maidens. She cries from the highest places of the city. Whoever is simple, let him turn and hear. As for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, 'Come, eat of my bread, and drink of my wine, which I have mixed.'" Do you hear the active verbs? Incline your ear to wisdom. Apply your heart to understanding. Cry out for discernment. Search for wisdom. Seek wisdom. Get understanding. Receive wisdom's instructions. Watch daily at wisdom's gates. Wait at wisdom's doors. Turn and hear. Eat and drink of God's wisdom. James 1 verse 5 says, "If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him." We are to ask God directly for God's wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Often we ask God to do things our way, or the way we think things should be done. But let's seek God for spiritual wisdom and understanding and knowledge in our situations. Then, if we follow God's instructions, we will often see changes and miracles in our lives.